to The Daily Dog. We are so honored to have you here. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So for those of you who don't know, Dominika Knosalla is a certified dog trainer and the founder of Dog Meets Baby. She lives in beautiful San Francisco with her 6-year-old twins and a yellow lab named Lola. Dominika graduated with honors from the prestigious Academy for Dog Trainers. So some of you have heard of the Harvard of the South. This is considered the Harvard of dog training. It was actually Lola's predatory reaction to her newborn twins, which was one of the main reasons why she started Dog Meets Baby. Dominika is passionate about helping parents of young children and dogs, like herself, who want real tips and solutions to keep everyone safe. She wants parents to have an action plan when they bring their baby home and know what to do when their baby becomes mobile. So I actually heard Dominika for the first time on another kids sleep podcast. It was Little Z's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I was pregnant at the time. And this is certainly one of the things I was worried about when I was pregnant. We have 2 dogs. And after my daughter was born, we actually rescued a dog. So I wasn't sure. You never know what you're going to get, when you rescue a pup that's not a puppy. So I looked at your Instagram account a ton before my son was born and found it super helpful. When did you get Dog Meets Baby up and running, and when did it really catch fire?
It's my pandemic baby, so it was April 2 years ago. Oh my God, it was April 9th.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it's this week is the anniversary. So yeah, it was 2 years ago, April 9th, and it caught fire. It was July 4th. All those dates. It was July 4th. It was Mom Brain Therapist. It's a popular Instagram account, and I just sent her a message in the morning because she has a yellow lab, and she responded. And you never know once you have a big account, it's hard to it's easy to miss those messages.
Right.
And she recommended my account, and it just and that's what helped me at that time.
Awesome. So National Kids and Pets Day is coming up on April 26th, and that holiday was sort of, I think, set up to celebrate the special bond that kids have with their dogs. And now, being a mother of 2 humans and 2 dogs, I can attest to the fact that there's really nothing cuter than dogs and babies. It can be a really beautiful thing, but it also has to be really intentionally set up and carefully managed, which is something a lot of dog parents don't necessarily think about before they bring their baby home. So I wanted to talk through a few different scenarios with you today. So what should current dog parents and soon to be human parents think about before their baby arrives? While some pet parents know they have a crazy dog, or some pet parents know they have a super chill dog, one thing you'll never know until you experience it, which I think was your experience, was how your dog will be with your baby. Is there any sort of checklist or timeline for this?
Well, there is. So, I mean, if you want to go to my website, I have a free checklist that you can download, and it covers everything that you need to do or should do. It doesn't mean that you have to do every single thing, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be, wow, I suddenly I have so many things on my to-do list, because a lot of times what you will see is that your dog already can do it, or you already have been doing this.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you train your dog, and now, or your dog has an area in the house that they can that can be their dog zone, or you already have a dog harness or a crate for the car. So a lot of times it's not that you have to do certain things. It's more of like, I want parents to look at this and see, okay, well, my dog can walk on a loose leash, but now that I have a stroller, let's do let's do a practice run around the block before we add the baby to the stroller. So something, something just like things that are good to do before you have the baby or think about.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. And how about if you're a current human parent and your kids have been begging you for a dog? And I mean, perhaps you had a dog growing up, perhaps not, but what
Mhm.
should those folks that are thinking about getting a dog that already have kids, what should they be thinking about?
Well, it's a great question, and I get this question a lot, asked a lot. Everything, you can do anything, right? You can have a newborn and get a puppy. It is possible. Is it going to be easy? No. So it's
Yeah.
more about like, you getting a dog for your child is you getting a dog for yourself. It's
Yeah.
probably more likely that you have to think about this. It's going to be another living being that you have to take care of, and then schedule training and schedule vet
Mhm.
appointments and schedule
Right.
grooming and crate train and wake up at night to take potty, right? And it's,
Right.
it may be like kids. Some kids it's very easy and then the potty training is a non-issue, and some kids are sleeping, and some kids are not great sleepers and you might be sleep deprived for months. So
Yeah.
it's the same with dogs. It's just it's good to be realistic. So I think that my personal advice is wait until the youngest is 4, and that's the age. When I
Okay.
talked to child psychologists, they also said they were not surprised that that was my suggestion, because that's the time when, like developmentally, the child is more ready for
Mhm.
that, would be more ready for that, and for
Yeah.
that animal. I think it's much harder when you have an infant or a toddler. Um,
Yeah.
it is, well, it is, there is something about having a puppy and a toddler together. They definitely are going to have a different bond. It's
Right.
just going to be a lot of work. So if there is a way you can outsource some of this work, whether you sign up the puppy for a puppy day school or a daycare,
Yeah.
that would help, right? So it's good to have a plan and be realistic about this. I'm not against I'm not against it. It's not that I don't recommend it. I just think it's important that you know what it means.
Yeah. And one of the things I noticed too when I was looking around to bring another pup into our family was at our local rescue here, a lot of the dogs have like 10 seems to be the age where like not recommended for children under 10. And I feel like a lot of that is based on the kid's maturity, but it also might be based on the kid's physical size. Like if
Yeah.
it's a really big dog or active dog that doesn't know how big they are, maybe they would topple a toddler over or something. But yeah, I just noticed that that 10 range was something that was on a lot of pups descriptions.
Yeah, I think it depends on where are you located?
I'm in Park City, Utah.
In Park City. I think it really depends on where you live. In some
Mm,
locations it might be 8, in some might be 12. So it's
okay.
not, I don't think there is a certain age where it's like, oh yeah, definitely that now that's the perfect time to have a dog. I have 2 very different kids, and my daughter is so into training and taking care of dogs, and just like she knows how to behave around dogs, that, she would be a perfect kid to be around a dog. And then, I know many 10-year-olds that, well, they
Right.
still might do certain things that would scare a dog.
Right. Yeah. My 3-year-old sometimes she's taken to training too. And so she'll tell the dog to sit and stay and all those commands, and it's
Mhm.
really cute.
Oh, it is, yes.
Are there any products that you recommend to aid in setting you and your dog up for harmonious living with a baby?
A gate, a baby gate.
Baby gate.
I
Add a
really,
baby.
I really think that a baby gate is essential, and it just makes your life easier. It makes the dog's life easier. Um, to me, this is something that I would get it should be on the baby shower list.
Right.
I honestly would add it there, and it's something that I would start practicing soon enough, and just so it becomes something that's not, it's not the moment when you really need it. That's when you install the gate, and then the dog struggles. But you
Yeah.
do it much sooner, and it becomes just part of everyday routine that the dog spends some time behind the baby gate, and it's not a punishment. It's actually a good thing because the dog has a nice cozy spot there. So
Yeah.
yeah, to me, this is I frequently have other dogs at my house. We have guests with children. I use gates all the time. Some of them are retractable, some of
Yeah.
them are longer, some are shorter, but this is something that it makes my life so much easier.
Yeah. And one of the things I noticed on your Instagram too was it's not really just about bringing your baby home. Like that's obviously a huge milestone, but it's when your baby gets mobile that's when the test really starts because that's when they can start grabbing tails and you
Mhm.
know getting all up in your dog's personal space. So
Mhm.
you have any specific advice for, if your baby's approaching crawling age, things to do, or just baby gates, baby gates, baby gates, baby gates?
Well, that too, but yeah, it is definitely a moment when the dog is oftentimes very surprised, if not to say shocked, that the baby started moving. They were not quite expecting that, and many dogs, because of how the kids move, it's not how we move. We don't really crawl
Yeah,
around the house, and we're much more coordinated and much more predictable. So
yeah,
to many dogs, that's a very, very scary picture. And ideally, you give them time to see that baby practicing crawling from a distance. So
yeah,
you can have the dog on a dog bed if you have enough room, and maybe you have two adults in the room, and it's easy to redirect the child to a different activity. But
mhm,
you just want to give them time and distance, and ideally some positive experiences, so they can get used to that new developmental milestone,
yeah,
and it's not just all happens at once. Oh my god, this baby just got closer. Oh my god, someone's pulling my fur, right? Like someone just sent me a picture of like that's a lot of fur in this little
yeah,
hand. Like their grip is really strong. Those kids
yeah,
are strong. So like, if the first time that the dog is approached by a crawling baby, which is already scary to many, and then the child grabs the fur and pulls a lot, that's a very negative experience. What this dog has just learned is like, whoa, this kid is so scary and it's painful.
hmm,
And that's when many dogs are like, that first experience is so negative, then the
yeah,
dog just becomes more afraid of the child and like more worried about the child getting closer, even if the next time the child might not do it. Well, we all know
yeah,
that, it changes quickly. So
hmm,
we don't really want this to happen to our dogs, because they have the right, I mean, they communicate. They
yeah,
probably a lot of times will communicate in a subtle way, hopefully, but then at some point the dog may growl, and some will do it very quickly.
yeah,
Just warning the kid, do not come closer because I do not like how you handle me.
yeah,
And that's when many people freak out. And it's, well, of course you have to pay attention to what your dog is doing. It's not, if to me, if the behavior why the dog growled is justified, it's not a reason to freak out. It's a reason to, okay, we have to change things. We have to
yeah,
listen to the dog. We cannot let this happen again. So with dogs, there are no redos. If the child approached the dog and the dog growls, we're not doing it again.
yeah,
Just to see, like, okay, let's try it again. Maybe this time he's not going to growl. No, this is not how you do it. So
yeah,
that's why I it's good to, and of course we don't know this when we become parents, right? Like a lot of this is like you just learn. And it's not like I knew this. I was very shocked when I saw how uncomfortable my dog, who was really
yeah,
great with my kids at that time, but how uncomfortable she was with all of that. And that was
Yeah.
very surprising to me. And I started thinking, wow, if my dog is so uncomfortable and she's just,
Right.
she's so great in general and she's so easygoing and likes children, has no issues, no behavioral issues, like what about other dogs who already have some issues?
Yeah.
Right. And then so it's just, it is a difficult, it's not like there was like a magic wand that you can use or a magic pill and the dog is suddenly chill and likes all of it. It's not going to happen. You just have to kind of power through this period
Yeah.
until the child's a little bit older and can follow some instructions, and then you manage less.
Yeah.
And it is easier if they're not so magnetized to the dogs.
Yeah. One of the things too I saw on your Instagram and I loved was how kids are good, dogs are good. None of this is intentional. Like toddlers, their role as toddlers is to explore and push the limits and see
Yeah.
what they can get away with. And it's the same with dogs. Like they're animals and they have roles in their head. And so I think it's just a really good reminder that none of it is intentional. Like they're good and we need to remember that and then just like manage the situation around that.
Yeah, I mean, unless there are some neurological issues, then it may be a different scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the dog might have a reaction because of a different issue. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What common myths about dogs and babies can you bust today?
I think it also depends a lot on the culture and country. I noticed that there are different ones in different countries.
Interesting. Yeah.
And well, one of the very, very common myth is that if you bring a baby blanket from the hospital and then let your dog smell that blanket, then your dog is going to like your baby, or that's like a great, perfect introduction or first step. And that's not true. That's, dogs need to have, like, it has to be a repeated exposure with with something positive for a dog to really understand that this smell is good.
Yeah.
Just one exposure. Well, of course, they're going to notice the baby smell, but they're also going to notice other smells on that blanket. So it's just good to remember that you can totally do it, but it shouldn't be how you prepare the dog for the baby. Just because you have a blanket, it's going to be fine. It may not.
Yeah.
So that's a common one. And then I think the other one is that people just assume that dogs should tolerate all that
Yeah.
behavior, which is
Yeah.
very surprising to me. It's not, I come from Poland. It's not quite the same there. It's more like, yeah, if a dog bites you, it's your fault. So it's more that approach.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you wanted to take the dog's bone. Well, why? Like, that was not a good idea. So it would be
Yeah.
more that approach. No.
Interesting.
So I kind of like, whereas where I live in San Francisco, there was almost like this assumption that every dog is friendly and every dog, you can pet a dog, you can like just say hi to every dog. And they like there's this assumption that dogs are social butterflies.
Yeah.
And that's like, not related to kids in general, but partially related to kids. So it's just good to remember that they are not all social butterflies, and they may have a history that maybe they were not socialized with little children.
Yeah.
And they don't have to like a child or be comfortable with a child. It's not given.
Yeah. What have you taught your kids to, like, how have you taught your kids to approach dogs? Like, I know some kids now very politely ask, may I pet your dog? Which is adorable. And I love that they ask that. But have you taught your kids anything in particular?
They don't approach.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That I don't really, it's, if it's a friend's dog, then it's different. But if it's a dog that we don't know, we don't approach that dog. ever.
Yeah. It's for
It's
sure
just,
the safest route.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't, it just like, yeah. I was like, so yeah, we didn't practice that. But yeah, in general, if it's our friend's dog, we always want the dog. Or, we have many dogs that stay at my house for training. And then we always do the first introduction with some sort of barrier, or we do it in open space or outside, or the dog is on leash if it's outside, so I can control. But a lot of times it is really through a gate, and we just give some treats and they practice some training. And then as they enter, I will probably have the dog on leash.
Yeah.
But it is a dog that I know very well.
Right.
So it's a little bit different. Or we let the dog approach the kids too. So we just give the dog space. But typically I would not have a dog in my house that wouldn't be okay with my children. So they typically are very comfortable with children.
Yeah. It's fascinating, the cross-cultural things that you've noticed. Like in Park City, it's a very off-leash culture for dogs. And, when you first hear that, you think like, oh, it's a dog's paradise. Any dog would love to live there. But like my rescue pup is super reactive, super dog selective. So it's like his own personal, like, he hates it because if he has to be on leash and other dogs are off, it's just a nightmare. So yeah, I think it's just good to reframe how you think about dogs, and not all of them are, labs or golden retrievers that are super social, and just a lot of them come with baggage, and it's worth thinking about that and respecting that. You have given so much great information today. What types of things do you learn in the Dog Meets Baby courses that you offer on your site?
I have 2 courses. There was a mini course. This one, it's all about the introduction of your baby to your dog or dogs. And it's a short course, so you can like some people literally watch it from the hospital bed. It is, so it's about an hour, like 40 minutes to an hour total. So it's a quick course, and but it prepares you. It's all about the introduction. And then the preparation course is a bigger course. So this one, the mini course, ideally you watch it a few days or a few weeks before you have your baby, because this will give you a chance to practice things. But you could watch it from your hospital bed, and then that will still give you that will help you. I definitely get many messages where the parents were like, that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And then the hour course, ideally you have some time to practice, because there is a big training section, and then we go over every aspect, everything that's on the preparation checklist. So we cover the sleeping arrangements, and we talk about about the dog zones and baby zones in the house, and introducing equipment and introducing stroller and practicing with the stroller. So, and the baby sound. So there was a lot of practice. So there's each module has a how to practice section, and then there is the training section as well. So you can practice with your dog go to bed, or you can practice leave it, or all those cues that are very useful, like on and off or away. So yeah, those 2, and then there is a combo, so you can buy those 2 courses together.
Cool. Well, I love this idea. I love your Instagram. We'll link to everything in the video description and your courses. But thank you again so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.